Hi everyone and welcome to my studio. Diane here. Today I am quickly going to have a go at painting this sunflower. I know that the season is more or less over for sunflowers, but there's always another summer, and next year, you never know, you might get the urge to paint it. And I'm going to be doing this really as a demonstration of the technique of negative painting with a veil of white. And so here we go. I have got my Kuretake paints here, the 48 set. If you haven't got that, it doesn't matter. Any set will do of paints, I think, although you do get a particularly good result with the Kuretake ones. And I've got a block here, the remnants of a block of Meaden cold press. This is 10 by 7 inches. And this is the one I'm going to be basically trying to reproduce. And so first of all, just to give myself a little bit of a guide, although we won't be following anything terribly exactly. So if you can draw a circle, an irregular circle, doesn't matter if it's not completely round, to give us the position for the sunflower itself, and perhaps we might want to indicate roughly where the center is. It's up to you, do whatever you feel is kind of balanced. And then we'll just indicate a leaf here and a leaf here. This is a little bit stylized. And then a thick stem, just keep it straight, don't make any big fuss about it. And then a leaf here, and the stem carries on like that. And then you might have the sort of indication of a few other kind of phantom leaves down here, perhaps one coming off the side of the page, and so on. And that's all you need to do, and it doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be anything. It can be anything you like at all. Just a quick, very light sketch. And then I'm going to use this brush, which happens to be a Craftamo size 14, one of the set of Diane Antone collaboration with Craftamo. And I'm going to paint blues from the Kuretake set. It's got lots of blues. These are all blues here. And a little bit of green in the places where the leaves are. And I'm going to do that more or less, what's the word? More or less at random. It doesn't really matter how it goes. And before I start, I'm going to put a little bit of water on my white so that when it comes to using that, it's nearly all used up. I'm going to have to get some more white by the look of it. But for now, it's probably enough. So we'll start in the top left corner, and I'm going to go from one pan to the next, just picking up blue as we go across, basically livening up my colours as well as I go. And if we get to the point where we have some purple colour coming in, so well and good, because a little bit of purple up there is never going to be a bad thing. Put a bit more over here as well, perhaps. And then going down, we have green, a little bit of green. You're not painting the leaves, you're just dropping in colours. And don't even bother to try to organise them or anything, just do it. And there's some nice pale blues there as well that you can use. You don't have to skip over the stalk, because that's going to be what's the word? Painted on top, probably. So just keep going. The only thing really is to remember to give a little bit of an indication of where your leaves are going to be. So a little bit of green here and there. And we'll keep on with the blue. This is fun. You don't need to concentrate too hard. A little bit of concentration. But really, just let it flow freely, as freely as you can. Different greens in different places. It's going to all change. Nothing is set in stone in my world. And I'm sure it's the same in yours. If I don't forget to paint over, if I don't forget not to paint over the stem, then I will leave it free like that, because then I know where it's meant to be. Okay, so that's our first layer. Then we're going to wash our brush off nice and thoroughly and pick up some yellow, and I'm going to be using, you can just see it up here, this is cadmium yellow. I'll just clean that pan a little bit so it's not completely contaminated with other colours from the last time I was using it. So we will now pick up the yellow and paint that in, and there'll be some bleeding in, but that doesn't matter. In fact, if anything, it's a good thing. So just bringing in the petals like that. And we will be able to put a second coat on top, and a third, and a fourth, and so on if you want. So don't worry if it runs a bit. Like I say, it's probably a good thing. And then in the middle we're going to have brown, but I don't think I'll put that in yet because that will run out pretty quickly. So at this point, what I'm going to do is let that dry and come back in a minute with the second layer. Now the next step is to come in with some white. And I've added, because I'm running out here, I've added some Cotman Chinese white to my Kuretake colours there, so hopefully that won't matter. And then when I finished splashing it in all the wrong places, just lift that out. What we do is now we're going to come with the brush and we're just going to paint over the blue and the purple and all the other colours that we put in the background, and we're going to outline as best we can, trying to remember this is negative painting, so we're painting around the petals. And it will all become clear in the end, I hope. And then painting over everything else, up to and including the leaves. If you wish. You could leave the leaves, lighter, darker, if you wanted to, but it's probably best. I'm just hesitating because I'm just thinking about the technique, whether to go over or not. I'm going to go back up here. And just paint round the points. And we're not trying to keep it pure white, by the way, which is just as well, because the whole idea is that it's kind of moody. Does require a little bit of concentration because you are, as I said, painting negatively. So talking and concentrating is not necessarily the easiest thing, but we'll get there. And then we've got another leaf here, so that's going to be green, but we'll go over it nevertheless because we can bring it back afterwards. A little bit of artificial resuscitation. So we'll go over this one too, and we're going to go all the way down. There's another one here. And I really love the effect of the white over, you can paint over your stem now. the white over the blue is so kind of dreamy, really. And all over. Like I said before, don't think too hard. I have said that once or twice, haven't I? Don't think too hard, just do it. And then wait for it to dry, and then you'll be surprised what you've done. And so I'll leave that like that to dry. And it's looking fine at the moment. Yeah. I can wash off my brush again. I do most of my painting with one brush, partly because I'm too lazy and always in too much of a hurry to keep changing them. But most of the time, if you have a nice brush like this one that's got a nice point, you can draw very thin lines like that, or you can cover a large amount of space, a large area, really quite quickly. I'm going to put some yellow ochre in the middle, and this is raw umber around the outside, just as the first layer for the centre there. And we'll make that a lot darker later with pen work and other things like that. And then next thing, turn my paints around a bit. Let's pick up some Cadmium Orange. And let's move the paints. And let's try it out. Yeah, not too dark. And let's paint some orange bits to the petals. So something like this. It doesn't really matter how exactly, because again, you're going to tidy it all up later, but we'll just get the first few bits of orange in first. And then we probably want to go around here a little bit. And then I'm going to go back to the brown and darken this a bit. If you use the paint a little bit on the dry side, you can make it more like that. See, very little water, it comes out really quite dark, like that. And you can just break the edge a little bit, and you start to actually construct something that looks remotely like a sunflower. Okay, so now we have to let that dry. I just want to mention briefly our sponsor for today's video, which is Skillshare. Skillshare is a wonderful online learning resource with tens of thousands of video courses available for members to enjoy unlimited access to. You don't pay for each course you follow, you just pay a monthly or annual subscription. And Skillshare is offering a great deal for the month of October. If you join Skillshare this month using the link in the description below, you'll get 30 days completely free and also a discount of 40% off your first year of Skillshare membership. For US customers, that means the yearly membership price for a whole year of access to Skillshare will be just $99, which is equivalent to only $8.30 a month. All the video classes they offer are of a high standard with no adverts in them, and more are being added every month, covering every interest and skill from accounting to cooking and computer programming. Last month, I recommended classes by Denise Love, who is also on YouTube, and you might have seen her channel already. But this month, I've discovered two other YouTubers on Skillshare who I wouldn't otherwise have found: Toby, the urban sketcher from the UK, and Louise Stiegel from Sweden. Toby has loads of classes looking at sketching and line and wash of every possible subject from sunflowers to the seaside, and his charm is in the way he uses wobbly lines and loose washes to convey the mood of his subject. Louise Stiegel couldn't be more different, as she doesn't have a huge catalogue of videos, but what she does have are bird paintings and abstract work, which is fascinating, and her life insights are valuable and worthy of watching. So why not take advantage of the month's free offer and this special $99 deal for a year's membership? It's just like having your own personal art college to learn and discover every possible kind of style, not to mention all the other skills available to learn on the platform. Just follow the link in the description below, and the first 500 people to sign up this month can benefit from this unique and very special 40% off deal. And now back to the painting we're doing today. Now that's dry, and here I have a white Posca pen. This is the 0.7mm pin type, it says. I think that's what it says. And I think this is possibly the best one I've got from the point of view of white. So all I'm going to do now is go round the sunflower, painting with the pen painting or drawing, whatever you want to call it, the petals in. And it doesn't matter if some of them are shadowy, some of them are going to be orange, some of them are going to be yellow, and we're going to put some behind because usually sunflowers have got quite a lot of petals. But if yours comes out really stylized, which is fine, that's okay too. It doesn't matter if it doesn't really look like one that's growing in the field, obviously. We're not aiming for that kind of realism. So this is easy and you'll enjoy this. Just following the lines. And if before you start you feel you want to actually draw all the guidelines in, you can, but you'll probably find you'll lose them. So it's better to sort of make it up as you go along. A bit like life, really. Making it up as you go along. So I won't put too much white around the outside edge there because I'm going to put black there in a minute. But that gives us a guide for where the petals are going to stay. And then probably what I want to do next is using the paint quite thickly. Zen's getting impatient for his walk. Using it quite thickly, we're going to put another layer over the petals. If you start with the tip of your brush and just pull towards the center, you get a pointed petal, which is what you want generally. And this just kind of enriches the color. And your orange behaves as a kind of shadow, so it gives it a little bit more 3D. When watercolors dry, they always fade down a bit, but the Kuretake ones aren't too bad for that. You could use your Meeden paints if you've bought some of those as well. And oh yes, I ought to mention, we have a permanent special offer with Meeden. I'm going to go into the orange now and put a little bit more orange in some of these. Where there is orange already, I'm going to emphasize it. So when you go to either our website or to the Meeden site and you order, put in the code Diane10 and you get 10% off. And at the moment, if your order is less than $40, you don't get free postage. It's best if you place an order for $40. And then, now how do I explain this? If you keep it below $40 and use the coupon, you'll have to pay the postage. So it's better to use the coupon and let it go over 40 and order something else that you didn't really want. No. I don't know. Anyway, we prefer it if you use the token that the 10% off, because that way Meeden knows that you've bought it through us, and that means that we get a little bit of a commission. And, not wishing to be, self-centered and all the rest of it. That's the way it works. Okay, so that's probably enough work on the petals. I could go on doing that for hours, but I think I've done enough there, and I'm going to let that dry. Then I'll put a bit more white in. And in the meantime, while that's drying, we will go to the go to the greens and put in a little bit more of the leaf here. A nice dark bit and a bit light as well. And same colour perhaps over here. That's a nice contrast, isn't it? So just pop that one in too. And then down here, don't be timid, be bold. Because if you can't be bold in your painting, what can you be bold in? Another one there. And another one here. These ones down here are a little bit more bluish because they're sort of in the distance. Okie dokie, so we can let that dry, then we'll come back and do the veins and things. That's dry now. So I've got a Tombow black Fudenosuke hard and soft, thick and thin brush pen here. And I'm going to use that for doing some lines and some dots and things for the seeds on here. So we can do scribbles. You can do whatever you fancy that you feel gives you an interesting effect, whatever strikes you, what your mood is of the day. And mine today is going to be different from last time because it's another day. And my husband's got COVID. And, you know, so silly man. I told him to wear a mask. So we just do some nice kind of spattery type squiggles and bits and pieces. And then I love doing this bit when I come down to the leaves. And my Tombow is quite new, this one. It's got a nice amount of ink. So you press hard and you get these super expressive lines. And you can say to yourself, I'm a real artist because I'm doing something really creative here with my line work being all free and liberated. And I'll come back with a bit more white in a minute too. So we come up here and we do the same thing, just letting rip, follow the center there and do your veins coming off to the side, swoopy swoop lines like that. And then down here, we're going to do the same thing, press nice and hard. And then you get this lovely, sensuous, am I allowed to use that word? Kind of, this is a nice, lovely heart shape, and so on and so forth. So there's that. And then maybe you might want to do a little bit on this one, but because he's a little bit of a side runner, he's not going to be too special. And we can highlight the stem. And the way this stem's turned out, I don't know whether I think I have to make it a little bit darker. So on here, we could have some highlights, and I could lift the paint a little bit as well if I wanted to, but I'm going to probably just highlight the veins with some white and leave that. And then I've got to do the stem. So I'll get my brush again, and it's going to be a sort of purpley green, because it has to be fairly dark, going up behind the petals, and we keep it broken up change for green. And here I think probably turquoise. Just to give a sort of contrast there. Zen, please. I think he's getting excited because his walk time's coming. So we'll let that dry now. So the last thing we need to do now is just to go over some of the white lines for the petals. Just bring them back the way they were before we painted over them the second time, which was to intensify the colour, of course. And you don't have to do this. You could just leave them without any kind of lines at all. I was just experimenting and I quite liked the way it turned out, so I thought we would do that again. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that. Nice, easy one, something you can do with the kids and grandchildren and so on. And yeah, very easy, fun, and relaxing. That's the word. So I'll let you go. There's both of them there. That's the first one that I did the other day, and there's the second one. When this is dry, it'll fade back down, even though it's a little bit dry at the moment. It's not completely dry, so it'll fade back down, be more like this one. But yes, you could do a whole row of them, couldn't you? You could do a whole long line of beautiful sunflowers. It would make a very striking way of doing a frieze or a wall design, wall pattern, a fresco of some sort. Yeah. So, what did I want to say? Don't forget to like and subscribe, turn on notifications, go to our website, dianeantone.com, download the free sketches. You'll find this one there too. And also, we have a new shop on Patreon that you might like to visit, as well as our shop on our own website. And there are things coming up for Christmas. I'm going to be doing a new Christmas mug soon with the 3 robins on, and I'm hoping to get that sorted today. So we'll see about that. So do visit us on Patreon. Do subscribe if you want to, but if you don't want to subscribe, you can still support us by buying one of our downloads, a free download for the Christmas colouring books. There's a couple of new colouring books on there from today, which have got lots of sketches in them for you to print out and to use as you so desire. So, can't think of anything else to say. Don't want to bore you any longer. Have a lovely day, and I will see you again soon, everybody. Bye-bye from the 2 happy sunflower faces. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.